Marvel unveiled their new teenage superhero team, the New Champions, and just on their first adventure, they get an overseas zombie problem to deal with. Before that though, they face a way easier enemy, the Brothers Grimm, a crime duo that had just robbed a vault in San Francisco. They see some boomerangs in the air and think that Moon Knight was after them, and they didn't even know he was back in California. But it wasn't Moon Knight, or the Avengers, or some other common superhero team. It was the New Champions, formed by Moonsquire, Liberty, Cadet Marvel, and Hellrune. Moonsquire puts the villains to sleep, while Liberty uses her powers to make solid light and grab the vault. Then, Cadet Marvel jet punches them, and Hellrune finishes it by binding them with her mystery spear. They are really excited for being able to defeat the villain, and the duo cannot believe they were taken down by a bunch of kids. They hand them to the cops, and Moonsquire rushes them because his mom would be mad if he got home late for dinner. While they walk away, Liberty says she is close to finishing the huge surprise she was telling them about, and Moonsquire wonders if it's a car, because he's tired of taking the bus home. Liberty wants to extend their patrol, but they are all teenagers who need to go home early because it's its school night, so Hellrune decides to practice her teleportation spell. The others are a little scared, but the spell works perfectly, and they are all sent home to face their parent. Moonsquire, whose name is Jared, gets yelled at for entering his house with dirty boots. Liberty, aka Miranda Montero, is building something while her parents try to help, and Emilio, the Cadet Marvel, is getting an Express Yourself Better class from his father. Hellrune is the last one home, and she goes right to her room, ignoring whatever her foster parents had to say. She had problems with Hydra before and jumped from foster home to foster home, until she arrived at the McCormick, who were one of the nicer foster parents she's had. But now she needs to focus on finding out more about the magic spear that showed up out of nowhere on her 13th birthday. She's been sending out her magic birds to scout for some information, and this time they actually got something. She has an aunt, so she asks the birds to take her to where she is. Meanwhile, the other champions are on a group chat discussing about Rooney's bad mood. They say that they all got their families back, except for her, so she must be sad about being an orphan and scared of another foster family going wrong. But Miranda says her parents were willing to let her move in with them if something bad happened. The birds take her to a forest covered in ancient carving, wondering how powerful her family must be, while something watches her from a distance. Back in San Francisco, Emilio wakes up with a blinding light outside, which turns out to be Miranda and Jared with her big surprise, a flying car. But that was not the only reason she was there. She had secretly put invisible trackers on them, just in case something bad happened. So she found out about Hellrune's little trip. It turns out that she went to an island off the coast of Norway, and then the signal just went dead. Miranda says that a bunch of ancient Norse artifacts were found there, so she thinks that Rooney went there to try and learn more about her family line. Emilio wonders why she didn't ask them to go with her, and Jared says that maybe she felt she couldn't, because she was the only one that hadn't come back to normal and didn't have a family. But before they can continue their chat, Hellrune's birds come back with a call, "Bring me the new champion." They are all teleported to the same place Hellrune was. Jared hears a noise and Emilio starts smelling something rank, just as they are attacked by a zombie Viking. It actually was a bunch of Norse zombies, and the new champions were severely outnumbered. But then they are saved by a girl called Phantasma, a kind of spirit of vengeance. She introduces herself and says she was summoned there by the birds as well. They find Hellrune and she apologizes, but Emilio is still mad at her. She tells them about the Bird Scouts and explains that they sent her right into a sigil ritual that resurrected the undead Viking. So she used her spear to call for the new champion's help, but the spell worked better than she expected, which means she summoned not only her friends, but other teenage heroes as well, including Spider-Boy, who is currently fighting an undead troll, and a bunch of other new champions from all over the place.